Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Dwayne. I got a video for that Kimball, United States Army veteran and retired VA rating specialist. In today's video, I am going to give you the top 3 conditions that I saw veterans claim secondary to their service-connected sleep apnea. Yes, the top 3 conditions I saw veterans claim secondary to their service-connected sleep apnea. Make sure you stick around. Before I get into today's video of the top 3 conditions I saw veterans claim secondary to the service-connected sleep apnea as a former VA rating specialist and when. One thing that I want you to understand, when it comes to this VA claims process, nothing is guaranteed. If somebody is out there telling you they can guarantee you this and they can guarantee you that, they are lying, okay? There's been plenty of times that I saw veterans claim things and I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna get service connected for that. Just saying in my mind, and it comes back denied. And on the flip side, I've seen where I'm like, veteran is not gonna get service connected for that. It's too far-fetched. And they actually get service connected for it, okay? Just keep in mind, nothing is guaranteed, okay? When it comes to secondary conditions, you have the option of going to the CMP exam. Also, you can have your private doctor to complete a public DBQ, which you can find on the VA's website, and they can do the DBQ and nexus statement. In this example, secondary, you need a nexus statement. In the description section below, I'm giving you a medical professional and a mental health professional. If you need a DBQ, click the description section and you can find their information. One is with Access Medical Solutions, and the other one, the mental health, is with Tampa Counseling and Wellness. So what are the top 3 conditions? The first one, slide number 1. The first condition is hypertensive vascular disease, also known as hypertension and isolated systolic hypertension. Now, I'm going to focus on the 10% criteria because that is the most confusing, okay? Now, I previously did a video where I broke down how the VA rates hypertension. If you haven't seen it, make sure you go and check it out. So, the 10% criteria, diastolic pressure predominantly 100 or more, or, not and, or systolic pressure predominantly 160 or more, or minimum evaluation for an individual with a history of diastolic pressure predominantly 100 or more who requires continuous medication for control. I know that sounds crazy, but let me explain. They gave you 3 different ways that you can obtain 10% for hypertension. Let's look at the third one because that's the most confusing one. And it states minimum evaluation for an individual with a history of diastolic pressure predominantly 100 or more who requires continuous medication for control. So you got to meet 2 different things for that third way under 10%. I'm going to read it again. Minimum evaluation for an individual with a history of diastolic pressure predominantly 100 or more who requires continuous medication for control. Okay? Now, in a previous video where I broke down how the VA rates hypertension, this is another nugget for you. You can test your blood pressure every day yourself and keep a spreadsheet, a record. That's evidence. So if you're already service connected, you feel you meet the 20% criteria, hey, here's progress notes from my doctor showing I meet the 20% criteria. Diastolic pressure, predominantly 110 or more, or systolic pressure, predominantly 200 or more. So one of those 2 you have to meet. Down in the notes section, hypertension or isolated systolic hypertension must be confirmed by readings taking 2 or more times on at least 3 different days. There you go. So if you're taking your high blood pressure yourself, that's how you can confirm it. Also, if you're having a doctor, private doctor, or someone at the VA do it for you, okay? Let's keep going. Number 2, the second condition I've seen veterans claim secondary to their sleep apnea, diabetes. Now, for any and all these, you need a medical professional, one, to diagnose you and give you a rationale that is in the nexus saying that these are connected. Wouldn't be a bad idea to go out to Google and find some medical studies and medical literature as well. A lot of times I'll go out to the Mayo Clinic. They provide a lot of information, okay? So diabetes, and I take this from the diabetes type 2 DBQ, okay? Now, what I want people to understand, and these are huge nuggets. I did a video, I want to say about a month or 2 ago, where I talked about secondary to secondary, secondary to secondary to secondary, okay? Stacking secondary conditions, okay? Now, you have sleep apnea, and your private doctor or doctor says, yep, your diabetes was caused by the sleep apnea, okay? They got to fill out this DBQ. When you get to section 3A, it asks, does the veteran have any of the following recognized complications of diabetes? If the answer is yes, they have to check diabetic peripheral neuropathy. That's of the upper extremities, which is the median nerve. In the lower extremities, it's the sciatic or femoral nerve, okay? Diabetic nephropathy or renal dysfunction caused by diabetes, and diabetic retinopathy, all right? Now, let's jump down to 3B. Does the veteran have any of the following conditions that are as least as likely as not? In parentheses, likelihood is at least approximately balanced or nearly equal, if not higher, due to the diabetes mellitus. Guess what, people? That is a secondary medical opinion. I bet you all didn't even catch it. Now, can you possibly use this in your favor for other conditions for a medical opinion? Yeah. Sleep apnea secondary to PTSD. All right. See where I'm going with it? If it's yes, it says, if yes, indicate the conditions below. Check all that apply. Guess what we got there? ED, hypertension, peripheral vascular disease, okay? Stroke, skin condition, eye conditions. So the first one was what? Hypertension, all right? So now if you have any of these, this is where the stacking of the secondary conditions come into play. So you already have this medical opinion right here, all right? If you check ED or hypertension or stroke or whatever, then your private doctor or whoever has to complete those additional DBQs. If your private doctor does it, it wouldn't be a bad idea on those DBQs, either for hypertension, stroke, skin condition, whatever, in the remarks section, provide a rationale. How did they reach that conclusion? Okay, they have to break it down. It is easier than what you think, but that is the second condition, diabetes secondary to sleep apnea. Now, what is the third condition? Depression secondary to sleep apnea. I've seen it. When you go to a CNP exam, you're going to have to explain to that examiner why your sleep apnea has caused you to be depressed. You know what? Let me give you some examples. Let's just say you're married. You have a significant other, okay? And your snoring is so bad that now you all have to sleep in a separate room, a separate bedroom. It may make you feel like you're not a couple, okay? You have to reasonably articulate that to that examiner. Wouldn't be a bad idea to go out and look at the diagnostic code criteria for general rating for mental conditions. Do you meet the 0, the 10, the 30, the 50, the 70, the 100? That's what it is right now. But they do have a proposal to change that criteria in April 2025, okay? So when you understand, oh, well, I meet the 50% criteria. Guess what you're explaining at that C&P exam, okay? So these are the 3 conditions that I saw veterans claim secondary to sleep apnea, and majority of them, they won those claims, okay? Whether they submitted private evidence or went to a C&P exam, all right? So with that being said, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and as always, share this video with your fellow veterans. Thank you.